Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about chord types and inversions. This is quite a basic elementary topic. It's not too hard, even though people make it out to be a lot more complicated than it is. I'm just going to show you different types of chords and what they're called. So to start with, let me play C major. C major is made up of C, which is the root note. Then we move 4 semitones up. A semitone is the distance between two notes directly next to each other, whether they're white or black. So moving 4 semitones up to E, and then 3 more semitones up to G. That's how you make C major. This works for starting with any note. I could start with E flat, and as long as I move 4 semitones up and then 3 more semitones up, I will get a major chord. This is E flat major. So what's important with chords is the intervals between the notes. So now from our major chord, if we move the middle note down 1 semitone, we get a minor chord, which is C minor. Once again, as long as we keep the intervals between the notes the same, we can move this up and down to any key and it will still be a minor chord. Now let's move on to suspended chords. If I play the scale of C major, we have C, which I'm going to call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, a suspended chord means that we take our chord, remove the second note, and replace it with either note number 2 or note number 4 in the scale. Note number 2 corresponds to a suspended second chord because it includes the second note in the scale. Including note number 4 corresponds to a suspended fourth because it includes the fourth note in the scale. Those are the suspended chords. Next, let's move on to augmented chords. And augmented chords simply means that we take our chord and we move the third note, or the fifth, because it's a fifth above the first note. It means we move it up 1 semitone. And this is an augmented chord. Next, let's move on to the diminished chord. The diminished chord means that we, once again, start with our major chord, we move the second note down 1 semitone, so it's a minor, and then we move the third note, the fifth, down 1, so it's diminished. This is a diminished chord. Next, let's move on to seventh chords. Now, these chords basically mean taking the chord you're playing and adding the 7th note in the scale to it. So, if I have C major 7th means that I add in the 7th note. If I start off with C minor and I play a C minor scale, that is the 7th note because it's not harmonic minor. So, if I want to play a C minor 7th, basically I play C minor and the 7th note. This is a very nice chord, and a lot of artists use this chord frequently, as well as the major 7th, because you can do things like this. Because it includes all of the notes of the minor E minor, we can go and then maybe move down 1. It's a very nice sounding chord. So those are most of the types of chords you will encounter. Next, I want to talk about inversions. Now, basically, if we start with C major, this is C major in root position. Root position means that the lowest note being played is C, and the next one is E, and the next one is G. That's root position. In order to make our first inversion, all we do is take this chord and move this note C up one octave, so that the second note in the original chord, E, is now first. This is called the first inversion. If we want to create the second inversion, we simply take this note and move it up one octave again, which leaves the third note we were playing, G, as the root note. This is called a second inversion. Then, if we do the same thing with this note and move it one octave up, we end up with C major in root position again. You can apply this to any type of chord. And those are the inversions. Those are how to create the inversions. Now, what you may find when you're working with inversions is that there may be a bit of overlap. For example, a C suspended second, the first inversion, which means moving this note up one octave, is this. Moving this note up one octave, which makes the second inversion, is this, which is also G suspended fourth. So, the second inversion of C suspended second is also called G suspended fourth. You will find a lot of these overlaps in chords and making inversions out of them. With major and minor chords, it doesn't happen so much, but with augmented and diminished, well, augmented especially, because an augmented, C augmented first inversion is E augmented in the root position. And similarly, E augmented first inversion is A flat augmented in root position. So these are the kind of things you want to think about. Adding inversions to your chords will make them sound a little different and also give your beats and songs more variation. So I strongly suggest using them and playing around with them and playing around with the different types of chords to figure out what you think will sound good together. Anyway, I hope this helps with chord types and inversions, and I hope this enables you to write better songs. Thanks for listening.